You are from Great Britain.
Yeah, I was born in Great Britain. I spent half of my life in the US, but I was born in Great Britain.
Okay. And yesterday, during the Project Earth, you explained that you were involved in oak tree project. You were one of the 42 children.
Not quite.
Not quite.
No. Project Oak Tree is a separate project which is to do with finding the mothers to house the children.
Uh-huh.
The Project Oak Tree was about finding the mothers who had specific wombs that would be able to house the children who would be born in the 1970s, which is connected to, I'm going to say IBIS, but I don't know if it goes by that name, but it's a name that's been thrown around. I think it has other names too.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other parallel projects similar to this one too.
Okay, the word super soldier sounds like
I don't like that.
You were involved in my lab. Is it true?
So it would depend how you would define the word my lab. Do you know what my lab means?
Okay, explain.
Military laboratory experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the time when people think that they've been abducted by Greys or ETs, in fact, it's a military abduction instead, and they implant memories into your mind to make it seem as though you've been taken to Mars or taken to a ship, when in fact you've been in a dam, which is an underground military base.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's start from the topic of Mars. There is a place in Arizona where there's a special portal called Jump Room, where you can jump from Earth to Mars, and you did it. You were involved in some mission.
No, I don't know if it particularly in Arizona. I just have memories of going to Mars. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you remember?
Well, see, I don't remember it like that. Okay, I have two different specific memories. Okay, the first one involves me being in what was like a hotel room with a red carpet, and believe it or not, the current president of the United States was sitting cross-legged on a carpet facing a fireplace. And I went up to him, and we started speaking to each other, and I called him sir, and I have no idea why. I instinctively called him sir. He told me then, follow the stairs up to the top and go through the red door. When you go through the red door, there's a military commander at the other end of the room. And so I followed. So he was very cordial and very nice to me. I followed through into the room, met up with this man with insignias, military insignia on there. He wasn't so nice. He had a big grin on his face. And then there was a lot of doorways, another doorway, a red doorway. I go through the red doorway and then blackout. Okay? The next thing I know, I'm in a military base. I can tell I'm in a military base because there's lots of people around with military garb, insignia around me. I could well have not been, but I'm going by my perception. That was what I am assuming to be a jump room. So when I open the door, flash, amnesia, no memory, then all of a sudden I'm there. This is the first one. The second time, I was in some form of ship. I was definitely a ship, and I was out of the atmosphere, and I was moving very, very, very high pace. And then there was a screen to the right of me, and it said on the screen, 1 minute to Mars, 50 seconds to Mars, 40 seconds to Mars, 30 seconds to Mars, 20 seconds to Mars, 10 seconds to Mars, and then flash, bright flash like that, and then I'm back in the same place again. So two different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because that was, and this was in 2008. Okay, not too long after that, a band, a musical band came out that is called 30 Seconds to Mars. And I remember distinctly seeing on this thing, doing the countdown, and it said 30 Seconds to Mars on it. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you can play with that. And,
Okay.
yeah.
What do you remember from Mars?
Not very much. Not very much. I remember being herded around with other men who looked similar to me. It seems as though all the men or young men who were there with me were all about the same dynamic, same 6'2", 190 pounds, similar build, similar hair color, similar features. We were all roughly the same sort of size.
Mm-hmm.
All men, though. All men.
Mm-hmm.
I see. I don't have lots and lots of memories of Mars. I have these.
Okay, so let's jump to some ancient topics. Anunnaki, Elohim, today. How do you perceive them? Are they still here?
They never left.
Okay.
Okay, they never left. So first of all, what we're going to have to define what you think Elohim means. What are you referring to when you say Elohim?
Elohim, I think there are people like we, but they have the ability, the DNA, which allows them to survive hundreds or thousands of years.
Well, the word El, okay, so this is the truth of it.
Yeah.
The word El has been used and inverted throughout time.
So that's Max Spiers, pretty much describing throughout this video the whole plot line of Stranger Things. Everything Stranger Things is pretty much showing you. Max Spiers was talking about it a while before anyone knew what Stranger Things even was. Coming up, he talks about a lot of different types of things, but again, all along the same lines of what they're showing you in Stranger Things. He gets more into what L means. The interesting thing he brings up next is about Bruce Lee. Take a listen.
It doesn't mean fallen angel. El was always associated with God too. So they've, if you look at all of the archangels, you'll find each one of them ends in the word El, right?
Yes, in Hebrew.
Right.
Or this word also was changed as Il or Li.
Sure, reversed.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That's why you have a very powerful bloodline in China, which is the Li. Li bloodline is either Li or Lee. Bruce Lee connected to this line too. They are a lot of those. Bruce Lee was an ascended master, an Orion ascended master, who came down here to teach, and who they killed.
And he lived 33 years.
No, of course. Okay, so you have the master numbers, 11, 22, and 33.
Yes.
He had achieved 33, which would be total enlightenment. So 11 is pure understanding. 22 is the master architect, the builder of all. And 33 is the combination of both of enlightenment and the ability to be a creator. 22 means architectural master. Okay, so just a slight detour there.
Go back to L.
L, yes. It depends, because the Bible has been inverted and switched around, and so much. So the question is, what are they? It would depend. I mean, what are they originally? They're angelic, high vibrational, high density beings who are here for the benefit of releasing this encaged prison matrix system that is in place.
So would you say that Sitchin wrote the truth?
I've seen Sitchin at rituals, satanic rituals before. I would say that he's about 60% accurate.
60, only 60.
Mm.
Okay, but so it means that those.
And that's not implying that I was at those rituals, just to make sure nobody thinks that I was. Sometimes I remote view, so I look on and I'm able to see what's going on there.
But the Sumerian tablets were true. Only his translation was distorted.
Intentionally.
Yes.
Yes.
Because he cooperated with Rothschild.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He works for them, or worked for them.
Okay, let's go back to Anunnaki Elohim.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we did the Elohim, didn't we? What else did you want to know about the Elohim?
What is the difference between Anunnaki and Elohim?
They're not even remotely the same. There's nothing similar about them. The word Anunnaki in and of itself means people from the stars, right? So
yeah. So like today we say aliens.
Right. It has become a term used for a specific type of alien, though. So you have, but this is a repeat. Like you have the Osiris, Isis, Horus story, or you have Semiramis and her son Tammuz, and Semiramis, Nimrod, and Tammuz, and Christ, or God, Christ, and Mary. These are all the trinities that are the same story, the same principle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with the Anunnaki, you have Anu, and then you have Enki, and then you have Enlil.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, so Anu would be the overlord, the overseer, perhaps like Jehovah, would principally like Jehovah, and for him to come down and live as a physical being, he would have to. It's one of the big secrets of Freemasonry is that the father becomes the son. So let's use Egypt as an example, because it's an easy example. So the war went on between Osiris and Set.
Yes.
Okay.
Dark and light.
Yes. Yeah. Set gathered together 72 of his cohorts and betrayed Osiris and stabbed him, and then cut him up into 13 pieces and scattered them across the planet. Okay, with then Isis, with the help of a couple of others who are less important in my opinion, Isis then came, she found the pieces, but she didn't find the phallus. Okay, so she put them together, but she couldn't find the phallus. She knew that she needed to continue and propagate that bloodline, because it was critical to what is happening now. If that bloodline hadn't continued, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing now. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So she created, through magic, a golden phallus. Then she made love to Osiris that way. And then Horus was born.
Yes.
But the truth of that is Horus is Osiris reborn.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Horus is Osiris. They are not separate beings.
Mm-hmm.
They're one and the same thing. So then the battle continued between Horus and Set, and went on and on. Set then took Horus's eye, took his eye out. So and Set, you could say Setian. The Setian consciousness is the dark, probably satanic, vampiric, parasitic consciousness that's here, right? So Set took Horus's eye. And then when you see in the entertainment industry, when you see all the time doing this, you know the reason they're doing this? The reason they're doing this is they're saying, ha ha ha, we got his eye. We took his eye. So it's mocking. It's mocking Horus. It's mocking the good. right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so so where are we at? So these cycles that have gone on, I could give you 10 other ones. It's of the same principle. So the sun is born on winter solstice.
Yes.
Then he's betrayed in Ishtar in Easter.
Yes.
Okay, and then he is brought back to life. And then so the cycle is
1 year cycle.
Birth, betrayal, rebirth, birth, betrayal,
Rebirth and
death, rebirth. Yes, yeah. This is the magic of this cycle that we live in. If you can align yourself. This is why the religions do what they do, because you can align yourself with the power that goes with that. There's a lot of power to be taken from that. So when you have these I'm trying to think of the royalty and the presidents and their Christianity, and they're not actually worshipping that. They're worshipping the ancient under the guise
yes.
of that. Well, they're worshipping Set. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Isis and Horus is Mother Mary and Jesus.
Yes. Yes. And Set would be Lucifer. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And this one eye.
I know what they're doing because I had a dream about it as well. They've opened the gates and they're trying to bring Baal in here, and Baal is essentially Lucifer. Really, Baal is Lucifer.
And Baal was Sumerian.
Baal has gone through many different names throughout time.
Yeah,
the name Baal, is it Sumerian?
He's depicted with those fish hat,
Yes.
like the Pope has now.
Yeah. Okay, so we can go Babylonian, Sumerian. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Now, yeah. So sorry. So what they're trying to do is they have to have all these Goetian demonic entities are living disincarnate. They don't have bodies, right? They don't have bodies right now. Some of them do.
Okay,
but not all of them. So they need. So I believe that some of these projects were put together to create a physical body. So when the time comes, that then they can put this disincarnate body into the physical body.
Like one of the 42.
Possibly, I don't know. Possibly.
Okay. Let's go back to the to this world today. It seems to be some kind of opposition between the Jewish people, whatever they are, Sephardic or
the Zionists,
the others, Zionists, together, and the other one was Aryans or Slavic people. How do you perceive this?
How do I perceive what?
This opposition. It goes on for thousands of years.
Okay, I'll explain. Okay, so, but I'm not sure. I'll do my best. The Jewish race. I mean, but it's so difficult because the Jews that we know of now only go back a few thousand years. This particular line, this Jewish line, goes back 50,000 years, Atlantean time. They weren't called Jews then.
Of course.
Yeah. So whatever this line has a high reptilian DNA in it. Okay. The Aryan line. There's been for hundreds of thousands of years. these two have fought. These two
Opposing.
yes, have fought because this one particular reptilian line wants the DNA from the Aryan line, and I'm not saying that the Aryans are all good. They're plenty bad and have done plenty of atrocious things throughout time. But this reptilian line is looking for specific DNA to take from them so that they can maintain at least a half decent human looking form in 3D.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that line had Lemuria, and the Aryans had Atlantis, and Thoth or Toth ruled for 50,000 years pre the cataclysm that happened 13,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The elite, and a lot the high level Masons know a lot of this information. They know this information, and they got very upset with me speaking about it the last time I did. They got very upset with me about that. Yeah.
Okay, so
yes.
let's speak more about that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's keep going. I looked right in the camera before and told them.
9-year-old father of two, and he was found dead on a sofa in Poland, where he had gone to give a talk on conspiracy theories and UFOs. He's well established within the UFO community. He was ruled to have died from natural causes, despite there being no post-mortem examination carried out on his body. Autopsy, there was no autopsy. And even weirder is that his mother, Vanessa Bates, has the receipts. She has a text message from him saying, quote, "Your boy's in trouble. If anything happens to me, investigate," prior to his death. So some people close to Spiers have said that they claim that he was vomiting a black liquid when he died in this Warsaw apartment. And then a friend of his says, quote, "A person has died here, and I don't think it's good enough that somebody who just took normal medication should end up vomiting, spewing black liquid, whatever it was. Shortly after that, whatever length of time it was, died." So a lot of the UFO chasers that are...
So yes, Max Spiers is dead. He died around 2017 with some sort of black liquid coming out of his mouth, according to what his mother said. But, what he's talking about, DNAs with certain bloodlines and certain mothers that, are chosen for these experiments. Like, look what they're showing you right here. Same thing. And going forward here, I'm going to show you more about the area that actual Stranger Things is based off of in New York. Max Spiers is in London, so that's a whole other can of worms right there, but talking about the same stuff. So
on the eastern tip of Long Island,
one thing to
Montauk,
mention
New York.
here is
There
watch
abandoned
for the
military
giant
base called
cannon
Camp
that
Hero.
they have right
Spawned dozens of
outside
urban
here in this
legends,
base.
from
It's a little bit
widespread
down the
child
road.
abductions to
Check this
time
out.
travel to covert mind control experiments. These bizarre purported occurrences are collectively known as the Montauk Project.
Montauk's been an obsession of mine for over 30 years. The story goes, between 1971 and 1983, secret experiments happened at the Camp Hero Air Force Base, which is only about a mile from here. When I was a kid, I walked along this stretch of shore here, and I didn't realize there was a base here until military personnel stopped me and told me to go the other way. And it sparked my interest for so many years going forward. I spent about 13 years investigating the alleged Montauk Project.
Local children were abducted off the streets, brought to the base, and subjected to brutal mind control experiments right under the now decaying Sage radar tower. When I first heard about this thing and when I thought about using it, I was a little concerned because I don't know exactly what it's going to do to me. The God helmet was designed for scientific study of the brain, but a similar and possibly more powerful device was allegedly used.
military history.
You may have seen this radar dish rising over the dunes on the desolate tip of Long Island, known as the End. Or maybe the forbidding signs that once warned visitors of some unknown danger. Camp Hero and its hidden past is a place of mystery and intrigue.
The public was never allowed in Camp Hero.
Montauk historian Henry Osmers took us where many had not been allowed.
They actually had guards posted on the highway so that if you didn't have business at the lighthouse or here, you were turned back.
This was during World War II when Camp Hero became a top-secret military base. German U-boats threatened the East Coast, and Montauk was considered a likely invasion point.
Part of what they call the East Coast Defense Shield, basically keeping an eye on things and making sure that there were no surprises. Two huge batteries, they're about 600 feet long, and each of those two batteries contain 2 cannons.
And yes, it's true, there are several tunnels underneath Camp Hero. Their purpose was to connect the batteries to each other.
So in the event there was any kind of an attack going on, they could communicate and go between these installations safely underground. They did fire the guns off now and then just for practice. The shock waves went all the way back to town, which is about 6 miles. There's some reports that say...
It seems like an ordinary summer's day in the small holiday town of Montauk, Long Island. A group of friends take a walk along the shore. Little do they know, they're about to make a gruesome discovery.
And we were looking for a spot to sit, and we saw a bunch of people huddled around. We didn't even know what they were huddled around, so we walked over to see what it was, and we saw this dead animal. What is this thing?
That? Wow.
My friend Rachel had a camera. I said, Rachel, let's take a picture of this thing. It looks crazy. It was about the size of a small dog.
It was hairless, but it had patches of hair, and then it had like a long dog tail. And then the head of it, which was where it was really weird and what astonished everyone, was it had like a beak. It looked like a bird's beak or like a pterodactyl's beak, you know, like some kind of reptile bird type thing.
The other funny thing was the fingers. They were like long fingers, and they were just strange looking.
And then it had like a tether around its arm, so it looked like it was tagged or had like a little collar or something on its arm.
The snapshots taken on the beach that day inspire people around the world to try and identify a creature.
You are.
No. It isn't. No, the war continues there too. 3D is anchoring down the rest, and until it is dealt with here, and until this is fixed, it's causing trouble for the other higher frequencies too. That's why the higher vibrational beings are incarnating down here to help, because it's been going on too long now. It's really been going on so long that people are not realizing it's so in your face. It's so clearly in your face, and that people are still not realizing that it's going on. That pedophilia is becoming acceptable on television. That they're inverting sexuality, that they're emasculating men, that they're masculizing females. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious, and it disgusts me that people are still not paying attention to it.
It's kind of boring that this nonsense prevails.
Yes.
And also,
I think boring is a very lightweight term for what I would feel.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say that knowing all this, I decide I quit from this game. I want to leave this game.
You can't.
So, who decides if I can leave it or not? Don't I have free will?
No. You have the illusion of free will. They made you think you have it, but you don't.
But this planet is the planet of free will.
No, it's not.
No?
No.
But what about those enlightened masters? Haven't they...
The enlightened masters you're talking about, like the yogis, etc., etc., just have... they serve So they're here helping others who are still watching soap operas on television.
Many
Jungles.
bases under oceans,
Yeah.
underground, like under the city of London.
Yeah, the CLC-1 base.
Okay, what is there?
That's all the financial moves for the entire planet are done in the CLC-1 base. That's where, I mean, there's also military training, and military ops training programs that go on there as well. But primarily the money moves are done there.
And Pindar physically is a human being or something else?
He can be anything he wants to be.
Okay.
Yeah,
Shapeshifts.
but anything. Because he has, so to be able to do that, you'd have to have a complete understanding of DNA codes. And once you do understand how DNA codes lock and unlock, it's not actually that difficult to do that. So
in 3D?
Yes. If you want, I don't understand how to do it, but if you do, once you do, you can. You could be anything. You could be any object.
Do you know the name Elena Kapulnik?
Not too well, but I've heard it. Yeah.
She's a super soldier, and she met through her astral body. She contacted Queen Elizabeth, and the Queen told her that she's 7,000 years old reptilian.
Right.
How would you comment that?
Yeah, no, I would probably agree with that. I don't know the specifics like you said, but I mean I wouldn't doubt that. And body jumping from body to body, when the body wears out, jump to the next body through eye transfer. So they'll take the point of death of the person, they'll draw the energy from the eyes at that, and then take the soul. The soul comes out through the eyes, and then you can go in through the eyes
of a child.
Yes.
And replace the
switch
soul.
it up. Yeah, and keep that one. Yeah.
I want to take you guys now down to North Carolina. This video footage was taken by Wendy on July 7th of 2022. Obviously in the evening time, it was well after dark. And what you're going to see is what looks like typical lightning. I zoom in here and show you guys. This looks quite normal. Looks like a random thunderstorm moving through the area. This is in North Carolina and the central part of North Carolina, about 100 miles away from the coast, maybe 120 miles away from the coast. You're seeing various colors, purple and blue, and now things get kind of weird. You're going to see a couple of bright blue flashes there, and then Wendy noticed something a little different over there off in the distance in the sky. Almost looked like a big serpent up in the sky. I don't know if that was a horizontal tornado, if that was some sort of a rogue roll cloud that just happened to kind of be snaking through the sky at the time she was filming the lightning show as it was moving through Laurinburg, North Carolina, that again sits about 120 miles away from the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean. So roll clouds don't normally form like that inside thunderstorms that are inland. You will see roll clouds along the coast. I've seen many along the Gulf shores down around Louisiana and Alabama and Mississippi. This one here is a little more inland. That's not necessarily right on the coast. So if it is a roll cloud, it's a very strange looking roll cloud, kind of twisting through the thunderstorm clouds, and the lightning almost appears to be lighting up like right there. Just a mysterious sky that she happened to catch on video as she was filming the storms moving through North Carolina a couple of nights ago. There's a good look at that cloud right there. Here I enhanced the video footage. I double stacked a couple of enhancements that I did. I just adjusted the lighting and color a little bit. That's all, trying to pull forward the features of this rogue roll cloud. I don't know if that's a horizontal tornado that didn't form, if
That's some sort of a roll cloud, quite possibly a mysterious shelf cloud that's spanned out horizontally across the sky. That's why she zoomed in and was filming closer in this area, because of the very unique feature she saw over there in the sky, embedded in the very active lightning and thunderstorms that were moving through the North Carolina